We're going to Game 7, baby.
You're Locked On Maple Leafs, your daily podcast on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome into the Locked On Leafs podcast, a daily Maple Leaf-centric podcast hosted by myself, Mike DiStefano, and my co-host, Dave Morassutti. Today's show brought to you by Monopoly Go. We got to talk a little bit more about Monopoly Go. It's the fast-paced game that lets you team up with friends for tournaments to unlock awesome prizes, like unique stickers for trading, some cool playing pieces, and hilarious emojis for taunting your friends. So download Monopoly Go now for free on Google Play or on the App Store. Game on. And game on it is, Dave, between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. The Leafs live to play another game, and it's now going 7, baby. We always knew this one was going to go the distance. It took a bit of a wonky way to get there, not one that I'm sure most Leaf fans wanted, but we had a feeling it would. And it's going 7 because the Maple Leafs pulled it out in Game 6. 2-1, unfortunately, is the score. But the Maple Leafs got it done. Dave, how you feeling?
Oh, feeling amped, man. Like watching that game, the nervousness throughout the whole night was there, right? Because they're trying to play this really tight style, right? And like you could not have asked for a better start. Like you could not have asked for a better start. And then as the game was going along, it's like you get to that moment where it's like, ooh, are we gonna have like a bad luck, a bad bounce, make things like miserable? But it didn't happen. And that to me, I think is just a testament to the work this team put in this game. They knew that if they were going to win this game and send this game to a Game 7, it was not going to be easy. You could not have any passengers. Sheldon Keefe even said it after the game. There were no passengers in this game. Everybody was going to have to do their part. Some did more than others. I'm not going to lie. Some did more than others.
Yes.
But it was a total team win. They had done everything that they needed to do. And now the Bruins, that doubt that we started to talk about, there's no way that Bruins team is not going not this again.
Yeah, and even if they're actually not talking about it amongst each other, I'm sure they're not. It's the last thing that I'd want to be actually talking about. I wouldn't want to bring that toxicity into the locker room, but it's in the back of everyone's mind. They're all thinking about it. No one's just saying it. And even Tyler Bertuzzi said it in his post game afterwards. He's like, they're frustrated over there. You could tell. And he's somebody who was in that locker room a year ago. He knows how they operate and when things start to go wrong, how they act and how they go about things. And that's exactly what he's seeing right now. He knows that the Maple Leafs kind of are getting under the skin of the Boston Bruins and that Boston has not been able to, play their game over the course of the last couple here, and Toronto's been able to stay alive. They've got an excellent goaltending. That needs to be stated again. Joseph Woll came up big once again tonight. Couple huge saves, and he outdueled the opposition's goaltender. Again, I don't think you can go as far as to say that he stole the game, because I thought that it was a pretty even one in terms of Toronto and Tampa both trading chances. I mean, early on Toronto, but then Boston kind of got into it towards the end. If you look at the underlying numbers, actually, Boston turned out to be the more dangerous team when all is said and done. But Joseph Woll stopping everything he could see. And the team itself was so stingy defensively, blocking shots. I think they had 27 block shots tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it was everyone. Like everybody was getting pieces of pucks in the defensive end. They were putting their bodies on the line. And that's exactly what you want to see from a team. That's the heart that you need come playoff time. You're seeing it from everyone, whether it's Jake McCabe or it's Joel Edmondson or it's Matthew Knies. Even, I saw William Nylander kind of get down there and block a shot. William Nylander out there laying thunderous body checks along the glass. That's what playoff hockey is supposed to be. It's tight checking hockey. and the Leafs are finally playing it, and they have been the last couple of days. And the Boston Bruins are having a really tough time with it. I think that's been the biggest difference since Game 4. Game 5 and 6, Toronto has played playoff hockey, and Boston doesn't really know what to do about it.
The Leafs are taking away their time and space.
Dude,
Like,
are they ever?
The Bruins, in when the games that they won, they felt like they had all the time in the world to do what they needed to do. Right when the Leafs put just a little bit of pressure on them, they're not crisp. Right, they're not making the right shot choices. They're not finding that guy for that extra pay, getting open and things like that. The Leafs have really done a good job of taking away that time and space, and Bruins just don't really know what to do with it. Right, especially Marchand and Pasternak. Like, you want to talk about how you neutralize those two guys, take away their time and space and get some mismatches, get an extra body on them. Those two were, in my opinion, they were invisible tonight. Like, they if you want to understand, look at how the Leafs were able to send this series to 7. Look at how Marchand and Pasternak have played since Game 4. How the last few games have gone for them. And I think it tells the whole story of where the Leafs have finally understood what they need to do to come back in this series.
Yeah, and I think you brought up a really good point, and why I think that honestly what's changed is the Leafs mentality in the defensive end. And they're all saying the same thing. They're playing with the structure and they're keeping to their structure. They're playing patient and they're not getting antsy, but they're playing aggressive. They're playing with urgency. They're every single time a Boston Bruins defender touches the puck, within a second, there was a Maple Leaf guy right in there trying to disrupt him, whether it's with a stick, whether he's laying body, whether he's doing whatever. There was not a lot of space out there for anyone to operate, and it ended up, causing a bunch of turnovers for Boston. I think they turned the puck over. What do we got here? 17 giveaways tonight for the Boston Bruins, but a lot of that was just because of the aggressiveness of the Maple Leafs in the neutral zone, in the defensive end, and even on the forecheck too. So Toronto, they just got to stick to that game, because clearly it's a winning recipe. That's 2 in a row without Auston Matthews that they've been able to get it done playing that playoff style hockey. And where I was really impressed was even like in the neutral zone, the way that they were just converging on guys and the stick checks. There was no easy zone entries for the Boston Bruins tonight. Nothing was easy for them. Anytime they got the puck in the neutral zone, there was not one but 2 Maple Leafs in the third period whacking at their stick, knocking it away, and really not giving them any opportunities to get set up at the offensive end. So the Leafs did a tremendous job defensively tonight. Obviously Boston's not playing at their A game. You can totally tell that's the case. I think part of it is that Toronto's frustrating them, but part of it is, for whatever reason, they haven't played as well. You would think Game 7 they're going to definitely dig down. Now the pressure's on them. Now it's must win for them as well. So we'll see if they get a different effort, but you got to be super, super happy with what the Maple Leafs have done these last couple of games. Super proud of how they've played. And, you're getting, some solid contributions from a lot of different guys. William Nylander, welcome to the series, right? Big time goal to get things started in the first, and then an outstanding play by Knies to get him the puck to get the insurance goal there late in the third period to kind of seal the deal for Toronto. We had been waiting for him to arrive, right? He's someone who's played excellent hockey in the playoffs and coming off those migraines, wasn't really himself the first 2 games. You saw Willie show up tonight in a big way, and that's a big reason for why the Maple Leafs kept their season alive.
It really is. You need game breakers, and with Auston Matthews not in the lineup, someone else has to score goals. And Willie's had his chances. He's trying to find his way to get himself in those scoring areas, but it's really his ability to just find ways to get that puck through, right? That first goal, you don't know how. I don't even know how that puck went in. It went off McAvoy, but like how he got that through. This team has struggled so hard to get past the Bruins shot blockers. This was actually, I think, probably the biggest change, I think, for them in this game was their ability to get pucks through more often. But then the second goal, can we give a shout out to Matthew Knies?
Yeah.
With the unbelievable assist, spin around, turn around, pass it to find Nylander wide open. And Nylander, breaking Swayman on the 5-hole, which has not gone well for the Leafs this series. They haven't really been able to do that.
He made a lot of moves. He went full on like Gordon Bombay, triple deke, quadruple deke, sextuple deke. He made a lot of moves to open up Swayman before finally tucking that bad boy inside. That's the thing with Willie. Like, he's got so many tricks in his bag. I mean, a one-on-one situation like that, you don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to pull it backhand, roof it? Is he going to try and backhand, forehand, tuck it in? Is he going to try and go 5-hole? Well, he opened him up and just slid it in, and that's the beauty of a great talent like Nylander having so many tools in the toolbox. You just don't know, and the goaltender guessed wrong, and the Maple Leafs were able to benefit from it. We've got a lot more love to show some of these guys, including Matthew Knies on the other side. We'll get to our 3 stars of the game. We'll continue breaking it down, and we'll look forward to Game 7, do or die for both teams. We've been here not once, we've been here not twice, but 3 times in recent memory where the Maple Leafs and Bruins have gone the distance. It's yet to go in Toronto's way. We'll see how things end up. We'll chat about it on the other side. I'm Mike DiStefano with Dave Morassutti. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. It's winner take all in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any $5 winning bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano and Dave Morassutti with you. We are your hosts here at Locked On Leafs, a daily Maple Leafs-centric podcast. Will be with you all the way through the playoffs. Hopefully it's including the Toronto Maple Leafs if they can get a victory Saturday night in Game 7 in Boston. Can they slay the Dragon? That is now the goal for Saturday. Get the victory, slay the Dragon, and then you move on, and then you see what you could do about the Florida Panthers. How did it happen tonight, though, Dave? How did it happen? Let's go through our 3 stars of the game. Let's start with your 3rd star.
I'm going to go with Matthew Knies. Not only with the assist on the Nylander goal, we talked about how much better this team was in the defensive zone, and his paw prints were all over it. Yeah. Whether it was, coming back to stop, thwart a guy, I think it was McAvoy who was going to the net and had a chance on that. He was glued to Pasternak so much in that defensive zone. He's been the most complete player, I think, in this series for the Leafs, doing it at both ends of the ice.
He has been doing it at both ends of the ice, and I even think that I want to say, I believe it was Sheldon Keefe in the post game said. He was asked if he felt that Matthew Knies has brought his game to a new level in the series. And he went on to talk about how he played well last year in the Tampa series. But yes, he has definitely brought his game to a new level. And, they needed a guy like that to step up, especially with Auston out. And he's done just that. And it's not just plays with the puck. It's plays without the puck that really has me excited for what this guy can become. Like, he's blossoming into a 2-way star before our very eyes. Like, yeah, there was the outstanding high IQ play, the assist he made to get the puck off the wall, turn, fire it to Willie, and send him in all alone for the game, the insurance marker. But like the block shots, the positioning in there, the ability that he has, the knack to just close on somebody and quickly get the puck out of danger. So, I got Matthew Knies. I'm with you. He was my 3rd star as well. He was excellent for the Maple Leafs for a 2nd straight game. And, hey, there always has to be some sort of star from Arizona in the Maple Leafs lineup, right? Well, Matthews ain't there. The other guy's stepping up big time.
Huge.
Your 2nd star.
Willie Stiles.
Yeah, we got the same 3 stars.
Oh yeah, we have the same. I mean, come on. It's like when a team wins 2-1. It's quite simple how you're gonna be able to place who won this and who's the guy that got them over the hump. That was Nylander. 2 goals, 3 hits, 2 block shots, just under 20 minutes tonight. This is what Nylander's. This is where he's built to thrive. He doesn't get nervous in these moments when this team needs him to step up. He doesn't shy away from it. And that goal, the first goal, like, can we give it, like, I don't know if you saw the other angle. I saw the other angle of it where he's just, finding ways to get himself open ice. Some people don't like when he holds off to the puck a little too much or does a little bit of that dance in the offensive, but without doing that, he doesn't get himself open for that shot.
Yeah. He created space for himself. I'm coming through a lot clearer now, aren't I, Dave? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I forgot to change the settings, and we were going through the computer instead of through the microphone. Apologies for the opening 15 minutes. That was the Boston Bruins through the first, half of the podcast here. 27
Now you got to
minutes.
turn to the Leafs for the last 15 minutes, though. That's not.
Yes, yeah, we'll continue to play excellent the rest of the way. But by the way, the fact that the Maple Leafs didn't surrender a single shot at 5-on-5 until like 27 minutes into the game is insane. Like, that just goes to show how elite they were defensively. And even Nylander, like, he was my second star as well. Obviously, the goals, he's the only one to find the back of the net up until the 0.1 second mark of the game. But just the way that he was even, playing the body, right? The big check that he made along the boards. He was aggressive with his stick. Like, you don't have to always lay a big hit to be, a problem defensively. You could disrupt people with your stick, and that's plenty good enough. And that's what William Nylander was able to do tonight, especially in the neutral zone. Anytime someone touched the puck in the third period and Nylander was on the ice, within seconds, he was there with a stick check to kind of whack the puck off of the guy's stick. And Boston, they were just unable to bring the puck in the zone. Like, they forced him to do a little bit of a dump and chase, but they weren't really able to establish enough of a forecheck because the Leafs defense were doing a pretty good job of getting the pucks first and getting him out. But Nylander, he was so good tonight, honestly. And we were waiting for him to arrive. And now that he's here and he's got a lot of swagger back, right? He's got that confidence back with not only 1, but 2 goals. Like, he had gone, 13 games without scoring a goal here.
Yeah.
The longest of his career, I think I heard. Man, big time effort. What was I saw a stat too. I think he's got 7 goals. 7 goals in 9 closeout games or 9 elimination games. So 9 times he's faced elimination. He's got 7 goals in those games. Like, the guy's just super, super clutch for this team. Came up big once again.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you look at how he scored the goals too tonight, like, big pressure moments, right? Late in the period, the Bruins had kind of really pushed back. He gets that 1 goal to kind of ease the nervousness that was kind of happening there. And then that second goal, like, not forgetting, a few minutes earlier, Max Domi had almost the exact same opportunity, and he got thwarted there. And Nylander's like, I know what to do this time. Don't worry, I got it. So
thwarted. Good word.
Thank you. The English degree comes in handy once in a while, I will say.
Every now and then. Joe Woll was by far and away the number 1 star for the Maple Leafs once again tonight. 0.1 seconds away from his first career playoff shutout. It's such a shame, isn't it? Such a shame.
Ladies,
like, why?
As I said,
no bearing on the game, on the series, on nothing. Just let it go.
I know. 0.1 seconds. Like, if it was like a couple of seconds, sure. 0.1. Really? You're gonna make everybody, and like, there was almost a brawl, like,
I know.
when that puck got dropped. So good job on you, refs, on that one. But as I said in the Discord, you know what? He might have had the shutout taken away from him, but in our hearts, he had the shutout.
Well, unfortunately, I don't mean squat on the stat sheet.
The stat sheet still looks good for him. I don't care.
Yeah, he made some big stops. He made that rebound save, that glove stop on Charlie Coyle. I still don't know how he got the glove on it. And there was another one off a redirect, just got a piece of his glove. It ended up tipping it wide. Like, the guys come up with some massive, massive stops for for the Maple Leafs here. And when you're struggling to score goals like the Leafs are, you need top tier goaltending, and that's exactly what Joseph Woll has been able to give them. He's just so calm, cool, collected back there. He's just poised. He's perfectly positioned. He's just technically efficient with his movements. He's back to what he looked like prior to the injury these last couple of games, and that is a massive development for the Maple Leafs if they can get that guy going and playing like this moving forward. If he can replicate his game into Game 7 tomorrow, at least got a pretty good shot to win again, because he gives you a chance to win each and every night when he's playing like that.
Yeah, a 1.82 goals saved above expected.
There you go.
Like, unbelievable. It just shows where we were when we were talking about with Joseph Woll. Like, everything we've kind of said up until this point has come true, right? How calm he is, how calm how he's anticipating plays. It continues to be like that. But he saved 49 of 51 shots the last 2 games. I don't remember who said it, but there was somebody that said that Joseph Woll's play reminds them of Carey Price.
I think it was Domi.
Was it Domi?
I think it was Domi.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense because Domi played with Price.
Yeah.
Joel Edmondson, by the way, he does not remind me of Jordan Binnington, because Jordan Binnington is a guy who loses his rocket.
Insane. He isn't. Yeah. It was funny. I was gonna tweet something about that. When that was the thing that was kind of going around today. It was today or yesterday. He was like, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Benner when I was playing with him in St. Louis. Just guys who are like super calm in the net, blah blah. And sure, maybe like what they look
how
like
he plays,
net,
maybe.
But in terms of personalities, polar opposite.
You could not have a more polar opposite comparison.
Like, this guy's just having fun. He's a happy-go-lucky guy who's just having fun. He's smiling. He's got those soft, crystal blue eyes. Like, he's just chilling and stopping pucks.
As you said, he's just having fun.
That's it, man. Just having fun. Having fun.
This was his fourth.
Winning is a lot of fun, Dave. I will say that. Winning is a lot of fun. He
has had 4 starts as a goaltender in the playoffs. 3-1, 1.40 goals against average, .950 save percentage.
I think that's pretty good.
I think you can win a lot of hockey games with that.
I think so too. So yeah, he very clearly is the first star of the night. Let's put a bow on Game 6. We'll close. Do you have any other final comments actually before we kind of close things off?
I'm gonna make one last comment on the people complaining about the Pontus Holmberg hit from behind. Yes, it was a hit from behind, but it was also a holding the stick. They cancel each other out. Stop crying, Bruins fans.
I'll also say that first penalty on Brad Marchand was a pretty soft call. But the Maple Leafs can't score on the power play anyway, so it don't really matter. Yeah, and that's still a problem tonight. You got a full 4-minute power play, and you can't score. Oh, so irritating. I think they only got like 2 shots on goal on that 4-minute power play. It's absurd how terrible that power play is. But somehow, some way, they're still winning games, and they're still in it, and they still got a chance to go into Boston Game 7 and do the thing, make the comeback. And then it was 3-1. Will hold a completely different meaning in Leafs Nation. A completely different meaning. Let's come back and see how likely it is to happen and chat a little bit about Game 7. We'll tee it up. I'm Mike DiStefano with Dave Morassutti. You're listening to the Locked On Leafs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day. All right, we got to pause here to talk a little bit more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about it. But there's just so much good stuff in the game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for time tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you can unlock. And there's so much to get. You can get some unique stickers that you can trade with your friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with, and hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover on Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and download it now for free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Welcome back into the Locked On Leafs podcast. Mike DiStefano and Dave Morassutti. I suppose we should probably mention the Auston Matthews jersey giveaway. So if you've made it 25 minutes into the podcast, appreciate it. We always love the people who stick around and listen to the whole show. And thankfully you did, because if it's your first time listening to the podcast, you're just kind of stumbling upon us. If you subscribe to us here on the Locked On Leafs podcast, and you fill out the form down below in the comment or in the notes section, you can win yourself an Auston Matthews jersey. Dave, why don't you explain what else has to happen for them to win that jersey?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go and fill out the Google form. You got to make sure you put the correct information. Again, I don't necessarily need your full story, but just give us
contact. Just the contact info.
You just want to make sure we got to get in touch with you. All right. Once round one, once game 7 is over, I can't believe I'm saying that right now. Once game 7 is over, not right after, we'll probably give it a little time. We will do a draw. We will pick out a name. We will contact that person. Once the draw is done, we'll find out your size and we'll ship off that Auston Matthews jersey as soon as we get it.
That's right. So make sure you're subscribed to the Locked On Leafs podcast on YouTube, or for those on-the-go listeners, wherever else you get your podcasts as well, via audio form on your favorite podcast streamer app. And then, fill out the form. You can get yourself a jersey. Speaking of Auston Matthews, Dave, what are the odds he plays Game 7? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm struggling, honestly, to have faith that he's going to play Game 7 just because he has been able to participate in an actual skate, like with the team. He's been on the ice
for like 5 minutes.
But I can only believe it if he goes through a full morning skate and Sheldon Keefe gives this was one of the first times Sheldon Keefe flat out came out and said he's not playing.
Yeah, it was early in the day. Like during his initial media avail after morning skate, said Matthews unable to go tonight. And beforehand it was like, oh, we'll see what happens. Today, not happening. Which means it's probably not getting, it's not getting better quick as we thought it might. Which does not bode well for him returning in Game 7 tomorrow. Like, it's not like there's a couple of days in between, right? It's the game's on Saturday. Not a whole lot of time between Thursday and Saturday for him to rest up whatever is ailing him. The undisclosed injury that has held him out of games 5 and 6. But dude, the team is just rallying behind his absence and somehow getting it done. Like, I still just quite can't understand why they have to wait until like this much adversity is against them to do that. Like, why can't they play this well, play this urgent, play with this much detail, play with this structured, with a Selke contending 69 goal scoring franchise centerman also in the lineup? It baffles my mind that they can't give this type of effort while Matthews is also in the lineup. It's just so bizarre to me.
It is so bizarre. And was the reason why I had said this series, the Leafs could win this series in 6, I didn't expect them to lose both games at home. You win one of those games at home. Again, this is where I have always wondered, are they trying to follow too much behind what Matthews is doing? Like, Matthews is giving an effort. I'm not saying he's not giving an effort, but are they kind of like, Matthews has got this, he's kind of leading the charge for us, instead of we all kind of have to step up and do it ourselves? Because I don't understand, and I know some people are saying, like, should the Leafs even want him back in the lineup? Like, yes, you want Auston Matthews back in the lineup. Let's stop with that nonsense. Yeah. But that's probably going to be the biggest question. If I were to ask Sheldon Keefe, how come this team seems to have a different look in terms of their effort and how everyone kind of plays as a collective group when Auston Matthews is not in the lineup.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like just like subconsciously everybody feels like they need to step up and actually like, I don't know, something goes off, like a switch gets flipped on everyone where they do it, or I don't know what it is. It is like one of the wonders of the world at this point. Because I think they're now what 37, 19, and 2 when Auston Matthews isn't in the lineup. 37, 19, and 2. It's a good record. That's a really good record. And 2-0 so far throughout this postseason, I might add. So we'll see if he's in the lineup for game 7. Both teams have game 7 demons, though, Dave. Like, whose game 7 demons do you think are stronger at this point? The fact that Toronto is 0 for 3 in like modern history in game 7 against the Boston Bruins. You go back to 2013, it was 4-1. We all know the collapse. Same thing happened in 2018 and 2019. Game 7 losses. However, the Boston Bruins have a much more recent Game 7 loss last year when they were up 3-1 in a series, lost Game 5 in overtime, lost Game 6, and then went on to also lose Game 7. Which one of those demons do you think are, I don't know, more surface level? Which one is more relevant or prevalent, do you think?
I think it's the Bruins one, in my opinion,
Hmm.
because it's so fresh. Because they were in the exact same position last year, and now this year, like there's a lot of players from that team last year that are on the team this year. You look back at 2018, 2019, a lot of the players are on the Leafs then. They're not on the Leafs right now.
Yeah,
Yes, you got Riley, you got Nylander, you got Marner. You got those core guys. I get that. But here's the other thing. We just gave this guy his due in the last segment. They didn't have a Joseph Woll. And like they had Frederik Andersen, but Joseph Woll has played out of his mind. And to me, that's been the X factor. And that likely will be the X factor in game 7.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Very well could kind of be the difference. Special teams hasn't had to be the difference because they finally are keeping the Bruins off the board, right? So like, yeah, they're not scoring goals on the power play, but they're not giving up penalty killing goals either.
Yeah.
Right. So it's the special teams have been a wash, and it's been 5-on-5 play, and Woll has outdueled Jeremy Swayman through these past 2 games. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a great game. I'm going to be very nervous. I'm going to be on the broadcast again, actually, for TSN 1050. So I'll be doing the pre-game, the post-game, the intermission show.
Hey, it's a good omen, for ladies and gentlemen. He was on the mic for Game 5 in Boston. So
It's true. Going back to Boston. I'm going back on the mics. What does that mean? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I do want to ask you one question, actually, before we sign off. I was asking my roommate this after the Leafs had won and forced a game 7, and I thought, will this game 7 and winning this game and advancing to the next round, beating Boston, will this mean more than what they did last year, where they finally got over the hump and made it through and won a round? But like, does beating Boston in a game 7 even eclipse that? Like, what do you think? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just genuinely curious which one to you is more, has more meaning, you think?
Well, I mean, for me, it's just like you saw my reaction last year because in my life, I've been waiting. I had waited so long for the Leafs to win a playoff round. But this is like, you're talking about like almost 50 years of not being able to beat this team in a playoff series. Like that has especially, and to me, you look back to how many people are saying this team was done. I mean, we were also very skeptical that this team was even going to be able to force a game 7.
After game 4, like that team sounded and looked defeated.
And to me, that's, I think, what could, if they pull this off in game 7, it's going to make it that much more sweeter because it's a rival, because they were down 3-1, because they've had to do it without Auston Matthews. This reminds me too of a lot of like past Leafs teams when Matt Sundin was injured in the playoffs and they had to kind of all rally around together too.
I've heard that 2002 run, right, which is the longest run that the Maple Leafs have been on in recent history, is that 2002 run that they made, and Matt Sundin was injured, and it was Alan McCauley who stepped up big for them. You know, Gary Roberts was on that team, Alex McGillney, Robert Reichel, you know, a bunch of guys stepped up for that squad. Ty Domi, Darcy Tucker. I think a young Brian McCabe would have been on that team, and was Caberlet with them at that point? Maybe a young Caberlet too.
He might have been really young.
Yeah, I can't remember if he was with the team or not, but he might have been though. But either way, I was super young when that happened.
He was with the team, yes, he was.
Yeah, I was like 8 years old when that happened, so my memory might be a little foggy. But what I do remember is like that was my first. That was the first playoff run that I like truthfully knew what was happening and was able to like be a fan, watch the games, and like follow the run. You know what I mean? And remember it. That was a special run for me. So seeing the team kind of bandy together similarly to what happened back then, the last couple of games here, does kind of have that feel to it. You're right. Which is near and dear to my heart, just based on my own personal, fandom. That's kind of where it all started for me with the Maple Leafs. So it's almost like it's coming full circle again. And you talk about full circle, the Maple Leafs 3-1, come all the way back, Game 7 in Boston. We'll see if they can change the narrative. So far, they haven't been able to slay the dragon. We'll see if they can get it done on Saturday. Any final thoughts before we close it out today, Dave?
Just get it done. Get it done.
In
Woll we trust.
In Woll we trust. The Woll the beast. The brick Woll himself will get it done. If there's one guy actually who you think will have like the game of his life, similarly to the way that like Woll and Nyes have kind of erupted out of nowhere here, like who do you think that could be for the Maple Leafs?
Gonna go John Tavares.
Okay.
It's either Nylander or Tavares, in my opinion.
Well, that wasn't necessarily the question. I was in like a dark horse.
Like a dark horse?
Yeah. Like Nylander and Woll kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Yarn Croc for me is a guy who I think might be.
I'll go Nick Robertson.
Some impact.
I'll go Nicky Bobby. He's been pushing. He's been hustling. Just hasn't landed from. He'll get his licks. He'll get his opportunities.
You think actually before we sign off, do they stick with the same lineup? Well, I guess assuming that Matthews is not going to play in Game 7, do they stick with Noah Gregor over Ryan Reeves?
I like Noah Gregor. The pace he played with, I think it just brought a different element to this game. And he was physical.
Brought a lot of speed. Yeah, I think you got like registered like 6 hits, I want to say. So he's big on the forecheck, and he's defensively responsible. He was getting in shooting lanes, and he was being disruptive again with just like an active stick up and around the blue line and clogging up the neutral zone. Very impressive night for a lot of guys. Like Sheldon Keefe said, like we said off the top of the show, there were no passengers tonight. It was a full team effort to get it done. A second consecutive 2-1 victory to force a Game 7 here. We'll see what Game 7 has in store tomorrow night. Going to be a good one, and we pray that when we return on Monday for the next episode of Locked On Leafs, we're teeing up round 2 as opposed to a post-mortem podcast. But the Maple Leafs, that rests solely in their hands. What happens there? Also, actually, before we leave, really quickly, congratulations to Easton Cowan winning the Red Tilson Trophy OHL MVP. 34 goals, 96 points this season, 14 short-handed points, which led the entire Ontario Hockey League. He had that 36-game point streak that he went on throughout the series or throughout the season. and currently still playing in the OHL playoffs right now. He's got 14 points so far through 12 games, and he's the first Maple Leaf to win it since
Mitch Marner.
That's right. So pretty good company, I would say, for Easton Cowan. As I tweeted earlier, from reach to MVP, quite the season for Easton Cowan. So congratulations to the Leafs prospect for that. All right, that'll do it for us here today on the show. I'd like to thank you all for listening and supporting the podcast. You can subscribe to the Locked On Leafs podcast on all platforms and receive daily Leafs content. Follow myself on X at Mickey_Canuck. Follow Dave at D_Morassutti, and follow the show as well at Locked On Leafs. Leave a like and a comment as well down below. We greatly appreciate that. Do the Leafs get it done? We want to know. Let us know down below. We'll be back with another episode on Monday. What we're talking about on that day solely will be decided tomorrow night and what happens in Game 7. Leafs Bruins, 8 p.m. in Boston. Go Leafs, go. Till then, keep it locked right here on Locked On Leafs.